All patients of atrial fibrillation do not require hospitalization and admission. Then who are the people who are required to be admitted? Patients of atrial fibrillation who are hemodynamically unstable, those with new onset of atrial fibrillation for investigation and observation, those with associated underlying heart disease, those who are in heart failure, those who are older than 65 years, and patients suspected of acute coronary syndrome and other comorbid medical problems. They must be given an opportunity to get admitted into the hospital and evaluated and properly managed. What is the long-term management of atrial fibrillation? Reducing the chances of atrial fibrillation recurrence is the fundamental objective. Reducing atrial fibrillation related symptoms, patients should be symptom free like palpitation, dizziness, fatigue, syncope and all those things. Control of ventricular rate, reducing the risk of thromboembolism and stroke, management of cardiovascular risk factors to reduce the atrial fibrillation recurrence and related morbidity and mortality. Anticoagulation is a must for all patients except for young patients with low atrial fibrillation. Younger patients, rhythm control may be the strategy, and older ones, rate control is the option. Atrial fibrillation, remember, begets atrial fibrillation. Sinus rhythm begets sinus rhythm. If we keep the patient in sinus rhythm, he will be there for a long while in sinus rhythm. If we leave the atrial fibrillation unchecked, he may continue to be there for a long while in spite of efforts to control the rhythm or cardiovertem. What are the surgical therapies available for refractory atrial fibrillation? Atria are transected and resutured to reduce the critical mass of the atrium, to reduce the left atrial size and the right atrial size. Surgical maze procedure is an attractive procedure. In maze procedure, serial incisions are made in the atria so that the conduction pathways are interrupted. Nowadays, instead of doing the incisions physically with scalpel, radiofrequency ablation lines of incisions are made using radiofrequencies, and that is radiofrequency maze can be tried. Catheter ablation is a widely used procedure. This is used to ablate the pulmonary veins or the AV node depending upon the patient. Compartmentalization with continuous ablation lines using radiofrequency ablation, something like a RF maze, is the procedure. Catheter ablation of focal triggers in the atria for atrial fibrillation, when we know there are certain trigger points in the atria. AV node ablation and insertion of a permanent pacemaker is an option in most refractory cases. Percutaneous closure of the left atrial appendage to reduce the thromboembolism in the left atrial appendage where the blood can stagnate is also an option. Post ablation antiarrhythmic drug therapy will be essential to keep the patient under sinus rhythm after the surgical treatment. So friends, let me summarize. This particular slide gives a summary of what all we have talked about. Atrial fibrillation is the most common arrhythmia clinically seen. Evaluate every patient of atrial fibrillation for underlying structural heart disease and address the structural heart disease problem to prevent recurrence of atrial fibrillation. Classify the patients properly into paroxysmal, permanent or persistent atrial fibrillation or lone atrial fibrillation. Risk stratify them using the risk factors that we have already listed and using the CHAD score. Thromboembolism is the main threat in a patient of atrial fibrillation. In more than one way, we should try and prevent the thromboembolism. Anticoagulation is the most important strategy to reduce the risk of thromboembolism. Age is a very, very strong risk factor for atrial fibrillation as well as for systemic thromboembolic complications. The older the patient, the greater is the risk, the more is the need to prevent the thromboembolic events and long-term anticoagulation. Anticoagulation with warfarin is the mainstay of treatment of atrial fibrillation except in patients who are young with lone atrial fibrillation. Rate control with beta blockers and calcium channel blockers is a must for all. antiarrhythmic drugs for rhythm control only in selected chronic cases of atrial fibrillation. The side effects of antiarrhythmic drugs sometimes may be a problem. We have to carefully choose the antiarrhythmic drug depending on whether the patient has got a structural heart disease or no structural heart disease. Cardioversion, either electrical or pharmacological, catheter ablation, maze and maze procedures are selected options in certain patients. So, with these take home points, I close this talk, and then I would like to thank. So, dear friends, we came to the conclusion of this presentation, and I thank you all for viewing this particular presentation and listening to the presentation. I request you to give me your feedback, and those of you who are viewing the presentation from the website www.drsharma.in, please write your feedback, and so that we can improve our future presentations. Thank you, one and all.